Awesome. Dr. Peter Flynn, welcome to week 15 of the
Going
NFA
fast.
challenge, 30K to $1 million challenge. How are you?
I am disappointed, but there's some good and bad news. So kind of excited, kind of disappointed, but we'll see how we go. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. I have good and bad news as well, which seem to balance each other out pretty well. I've got some very fascinating study that I've been doing in the NFT realm. And with you, we've sort of joined forces a little bit. Have also become NFT day traders. And we've
We
done a bit of
certainly have.
flipping there, almost a passive income sort of thing there, which is nice. I think I was talking about that last week
Mm.
or last Wednesday, which is basically having your passive investments on the side, just doing whatever they're doing, really volatile. And then also having something that you have somewhat control over, like a business or a grind or a day trade flipping. I feel like is a nice balance and will get us into six-figure land within a couple of days for you, I believe, with that long snout.
We shall see. But why don't we get kicking? I might actually go first. I got some exciting news to share. So I'm going to share screen if you allow it.
I now allow it.
You
Since
now
you
allow it.
asked
Thank you,
permission.
sir. And if we jump into this one here, what we can see is, and I'll scroll across and scroll up, is I've made a sale. I've sold
Well
one of
done.
my positions, and it was Webjet.
Well
And
done.
I'll go into a few of the reasons behind why I sold Webjet this week. So Webjet, I think, is a fantastic company. I think the main reason I'm selling out is because I don't think it's going to continue to have the same growth. I think we're sort of around the top with the trajectory of Webjet, and there's a few reasons for that. We've had the reopening of international borders here in Australia, which has shot it up. There's been the reopening overseas because it has a lot of business overseas. And all in all, 33% is a pretty good gain over the past, 14, 15 weeks now. So I'm pretty happy to take that profit and now have some liquidity to be able to invest elsewhere. And that's worked out pretty well so far. But if you look a little bit further into Webjet, because I know a lot of people, and I sold a lot more Webjet as well. And a lot of my thought process was I sold a lot of Flight Centre and Webjet on Friday. The S&P 500 was 3% down. They were at record highs. And so I sold out of one that was for a premium, and I bought into the S&P 500 at a discount. This is outside the challenge, in order to take something from a slightly riskier investment and to put it into something that's much safer, long-term investment that's currently been hit hard.
Mm.
Now, a lot of people have asked me, like, why am I selling Webjet now? It could go so much higher, et cetera, et cetera. But what I want to look at here is Webjet's current market cap is 2.462 billion.
Wow.
Which is pretty good. But I want to give you some context. Pre-COVID, it was 1.36 billion. So it's currently 77% more valued than it was pre-COVID, right? Because
That's crazy.
they created a whole lot more shares to create more cash, and it was trading around $10 per share pre-COVID. It's now $6.47, but there's a lot more shares on offer now. If we scroll, where is it? Let's go stats. If we scroll down and see how many shares are outstanding, there's 380 million, and I think there are 116 million, 160 million before. So more than doubled how many shares outstanding. So the market cap is larger than it was pre-COVID. Now, I find this really interesting because a lot of people at the moment are going, should I hold Webjet? What should I do? Could it continue to grow and grow and grow? And I'm like, it could grow, but either the intrinsic value was not priced into it well previously, because it's 77% overvalued compared to what it was pre-COVID when it was making money. Now it's not making money, it's losing a lot of money. And so people are trying to price in the future recovery. And I think we've priced in the next 5 to 10 years of recovery. Looking at that, it's just going to be hard for it to continue to go up for any reasonable reason other than greed. And for that reason, I decided to sell out at $6.48 throughout the day on Friday. So for anyone who has the Webjet or Flight Centre shares, I do believe they're extremely overvalued at the moment, and it could be a really good time to sell.
Official advice?
That is officially not financial advice. But just consider that. Is the company worth 77% more now that it's not making money than it was pre-COVID when it was making money?
Mhm.
And could it be time to lock in? As Jayla would say, it's not a gain until you cash
No.
out.
No real till you cash out.
Real deal cash out. Tyro's had a little bit of a hit this week, down to 9.22%. It was about $4.30 before. If that changed it to 4.3, we were doing really well. Tech stocks took a big hit internationally, and Tyro just followed suit. Very bullish on this still. Continue to holding. Very bullish on Westfield still. We're still in massive lockdowns here. So very, very bullish on that. And the reason that Webjet shot up so much is they've pretty much said borders are going to open on these dates and with these conditions. And so we can see and price in that recovery. Hasn't been priced in, I believe, to Center Group and Tyro just yet. And if we scroll down, on Friday, I then decided to purchase Hedera Hashgraph. Now I sold out for, what was it, total? It's over here, sorry. 1660 on top of that. So I'd have to double check exactly how much, about $6,500. And I put
4,066.42 under current.
Sorry, I bought Hedera Hashgraph. Now for how many did I buy? 10,579 of them at 46.3 cents Australian. And that has gone up 23% since Friday, which is ridiculous. Which is ridiculous when you think these ones. I'm like, in 15 weeks, 33% is incredible, and it genuinely is. But Hedera Hashgraph, which is just a different type of blockchain, from my understanding, a different way of doing things, and it could be used more and more in business in terms of storing things in the cloud. And there's a lot of big backers in this one. And so I thought I'd get around this because there's a lot of really smart people that I'm following who are putting more and more money into Hedera Hashgraph, and that was good enough for me as a place to put this little this bit of money here. But that's not all I did.
Sorry, real quick. Do you know what the market cap is on the old Hedera?
I do not, but I can check for you.
I think you said, Hedera Hashgraph is obviously a cryptocurrency, which operates very differently to the stock market, as we can see. A lot harder to know when to get out of the old cryptos. Unlike, you can tell on that Webjet, very clear gains, very clear valuations based on what the history was. On this one, it's just like, I don't know which way it's going to go. 6.1 billion. So it's worth 3 Webjets.
3 Webjets. Yeah, I like it.
Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. So no, this is really interesting. So I'm going to continue to hold this one for a little bit further yet. But as I said, we're 23% up. However, it could go up or down really at the drop of a hat.
Real quick, because I think interesting talking point, or at least for me, we talk about not really knowing, like you're very clear getting out of Webjet. For myself, I have no idea when to get out of cryptos. I think you've talked about like refreshing and somewhat sleepless nights on cryptos or NFTs. It's like, do you have a revised exit plan for this one, or you're going to ride the waves?
I think the big thing for me here, and a learning from Axie Infinity that I've had, and if I pull up Axie Infinity,
AXS, which is doing better than ASX by a long way.
Ridiculous. I'll go on this one here.
Is that US?
It is US, yeah.
Yeah, that's flying.
As you can see, it's continuing to fly. And this was around here, I can't remember, it was around 57, 58 Australian dollars off memory I bought in. And then I sold out at just over 100 Australian dollars as my average price for selling out. It's now currently at 108, 109 US dollars per coin, which is about 160 US dollars, which would have realistically tripled the money that I'd put into that, which is absolutely insane. Yeah. But around here, because I've seen it go up and down so much, I was like, oh, I might sell. I might try and just sell. I think I did $5,000 worth at a time over a period of a week to try and even out the highs and lows. But what if I just held? Like with a lot of these, if you're just holding, what's going to happen? Because if it's a good project, if it's something that people want to invest in, if it's something that is actually has utility and has the prospect of growing, then why don't I apply the same thought process that I have to stocks, which is buying and holding for long periods of time, things that I believe in, to these same coins? And I guess the hard part with that is I just can't value these very well. Whereas with Webjet, with Tyro, with Center Group, I can understand the intrinsic value a little bit better. And from that, I can make it, I guess, an educated guess at when I should sell.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Like believing in the tech and believing in the future of it, but then hold it, don't day trade it.
Good. And the last thing I did, the last thing here, these 3 curio cards have gone down again this week. So I'm going to continue to hold because I don't, it's that whole not wanting to make a loss. I've spent about 30,000 Australian dollars on these, and they're currently worth like 16 or 17,000 dollars, which is 17,490, exactly what you want. However, one more thing that I could put in here, as I did sell Webjet on Friday to free up some cash, was we jumped on the Desmond Riddler NFT and managed to get number 35 here, and I sold it for 0.23 ETH overnight. And after fees, it was 576.32 Australian dollars profit from literally just staying up on a Friday night till 10:30, which is pretty hard. I won't lie.
Way past our bedtime.
It was pretty hard. It was way past our bedtimes. But to be able to do that and make 500, like we were saying before, be able to flip those and make $500 a week, like there's your rent paid per week, right?
Yeah, that's what I was talking to J. Lou about today. It's just like, if you do that once a week, we did have a big name this week. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch last week's where we talked about flipping the Sweet Futures NFTs. But it's such a great side hustle. And it's also fun because we do it together. It's funny, the more people you do it, the less profitable it gets because we're all doing it to flip straight away. And then we just undercut each other on the resell because none of us really want to hold it too long. But on top of that, like, we're very strong. Like, if Gary recommends something, I'd probably just buy it blindly because he's pretty good with his value. And he's recommending them now after we buy them. He's recommending that people go and buy them off us. So it's like, I'm not against holding him longer term, but at least just for this challenge, it's like I feel like I'm better off now. I'll let you share screen because I also did that today. This weekend. Get out of that sheet. So Sweet Futures flip, I just factored in with the other 4 that I had in here, but this one was my biggest flip. I believe I did 900 Australian before fees. About 700 Australian profit from that one flip. And I flipped it. I think I was the second person to sell, and I wasn't quick fingered. I blamed the Wi-Fi. I think I got number 44. And I flipped him very quickly just because what I was saying is I prefer to have that $1,000 cash sitting in my MetaMask that I can then reinvest into other projects instead of being like, this could triple in a year. I feel like I could more than triple it in that year or lose it, but get a good education from it. The other thing I did was a Moody Crow flip. Now, this one will be interesting to actually talk about. This was a J. Lou, my girlfriend, Jenna, recommendation once again. She walked out of the room. She's like, Alex Becker, who we follow for the NFTs, is recommending a Moody Crows, which drop in like half an hour. I'm like a little bit hesitant. I'm like, maybe there could be a good flip, but I will actually show you what it was because this makes me very bullish on Ethereum. And as you can see, if you've watched this challenge, I've just gravitated towards the realm of crypto, gaming, crypto, and NFTs. Why? Because it's the most volatile. And if we're trying to get to 1 million, like Pete's Webjet is absolutely miraculous, a 33% return in 14, 15 weeks. But it's like his Hedera Hashgraph's up 22%. So it's like, why not play in the vehicle that's going to give you that volatility? In 2 days, exactly. 2 days. So I'm like, okay, I'll play in the vehicle that gives me that volatility because it's better than being a jet ski and like have the chances of crashing into land than being just like a rowboat rowing slow. And I do believe this technology is the future, and I'd like to get really well educated on it. So this was the Moody Crow collection. You can see this Wi-Fi from me. This is what made me get number 44. I don't know what's going on at the moment, but I need new Wi-Fi. So Moody Crows. This is the first they say it's the first. I actually don't think it is, but the marketing was every NFT drop needs a story. And when they have a story, they sell. And their story was they're the first NFT artwork on Immutable X. Now, what is Immutable X? It's a layer 2 for Ethereum, meaning Ethereum is your base layer chain. And these other, some of them are changed. Immutable X is a marketplace who actually do have their own chain, which mirrors Ethereum. But you don't pay the exorbitant gas fees. So gas fees sometimes can be like $1,000, $2,000, but because you're not actually trading Ethereum, you cash your Ethereum in for this side chain, and then you trade the side chain gas free. And then when you go back to Ethereum, you pay a small amount of gas on the overall thing that goes back. So that's where a lot of these other coins that were popping up, they're like, oh, we're better than Ethereum, such as Polygon, such as Matic, such as Solana. We're like, they're like, we don't have the gas that Ethereum has. The gas that Ethereum has is unsustainable. And Ethereum's like, yeah, we have all these changes coming in, but it's hard to shift a $400 billion company quickly. They're like a whale out there. So they're very slow. And that's where these smaller coins are picking up market share. But now people are just building on top of Ethereum, which by far is the biggest giant out there, and minting NFTs such as Moody Crow on these side chains. Now, Immutable X is a side chain. I don't actually know if it's a layer 2. I don't know if a side chain is really the technical term here. But like I said, you put it into the mirrored Ethereum on their layer 2, and then you mint them gas free, which is great. I minted this Moody Crow this morning, gas free on Ethereum, not technically, but on the Ethereum chain for 171 US. And I sold him for 721 US and a $550 profit. I also, funny enough, undersold him just because I had no idea that they were going through a surge afterwards. But this is him here, Moody Crow. And the thing about this sidechain, so you can see the lowest price now is about 0.4, where I sold mine for 0.46. I sold mine for 0.21. So if I held, but this is the same as like the sweet futures flips for me. It's like if I held, yeah, I could have made $2,000, but it's like in hindsight, if I was more educated, I would have just bought 5 of them, because there was literally a drop down on the minting. It's like, how many do you want? And I was just like, 1, enter. And they sold out pretty quick in 5 minutes. And I'm just like, if I just push 5, I could have made literally like 5 to 6K. If I knew and I timed it right. So that's always the thing with crypto. You're like, oh, if I did this, I could have done so much better. But I don't know. I got into this last minute. I was very happy to make it quick. It was 550 US. And I do think like everyone in there hypes them up so much. Like, this is it. This is the one. We're the first one on Immutable X. And it's like, I've been in this small NFT community for now a month and a half through this challenge. And it's like, I can see that people's diamond hands and people's hype always outlive the actual value of the NFT. And I'd prefer to get out for $1,000 and once again, reinvest that $1,000 than hold on and have that be $3,000 or $4,000 and not get the experience of reinvesting. So I'm almost like, my rules now is almost like take profit early, or what I'm doing, I'm buying something called flowers on Monday, which I'll link you into, Pete, if you want to grab some. I'm going to buy 3 of them, one to flip really quickly and pay for the other 2. And this is if it goes up. If it goes down, we just lose 3. The other one to sell at a mediumly high price. So I would sell probably another crow now. And then one to hold for 10 ETH gains plus. That is just, you're already in the green, is my new rule. But Immutable X also has TikTok official NFTs dropping this week, I believe. They're a very new platform, but they've got the contract for official TikTok influencer NFTs, which would be very interesting to watch, because this platform is really coming up right now. And you can't, like I said, you can't put them on OpenSea because they're actually not on Ethereum. It's a side chain, so the marketplace is on Moody Crow, is on Immutable X. And actually, I've been trying to take my money out for a bit. So I want to see inventory here. Yeah, pending transaction. So it's a bit slow too. I'm trying to take out my 0.2 on Ethereum, but it's been like 8 hours now, and it hasn't been coming.
It reminds me of a meme I saw once, and it's like, I'm like $4 million up in like shit coins, But then like the platform that I did it on has just disappeared.
Yeah, it's so true. It's
Like
so
I made so
true.
much money and the platform's just gone. Where did it go?
It's so true. And that's the other one, Plasma Bears, which had an X copy, if you know who he is a famous NFT artist, very OG. They had massive hype around their collection. And then I just went on their website today. They're still like a top 50 traded NFT. And I said, Plasma Bears is officially shutting down. You guys are just ditching Plasma Bears. Like this is the one that Gary Vee was collecting, everyone was collecting. But this shows you like this market we're in. It's Web 1.0. It's like diapers.com in 98 and like catsupplies.com in 99. It's like all these things that are like where the online cat supply place, where this, where that, like Vine and all these social media in Web 2.0, MySpace. It's like even if they're big and they got big backers, most of them are going to fail. So you do have to know when to get out. I did pick up some Phantom as well. I actually didn't put that in, but I think I'm up $100 on that. I'll pop that in for next week. There was one thing that I was going to talk about. Let my mind. You guys don't get it this week. I'm launching my NFT collection. That's where I'm really fully focused this month. I won't give too much away now, but I'm watching other NFTs. This is where I'll take it. This will be fun. I'm watching other upcoming NFTs, and following on from Plasma Bears, this space is so primitive that I'd love to actually do something significant in it because it's so possible. The technology is so awesome. You don't need a team of 100 people. Like we have 2 artists, myself, my brother, and my mum's in there as well. We run our family business, but we don't need hundreds of people to get this actually working in these market caps of like millions of dollars behind these NFTs. It's like the technology is so good that the community basically becomes the product. And I won't go too much into detail this week. I'll leave it for next week, but the artwork is very important. But you can see there's a lot of these artworks going that are just really, really basic, in my opinion. I know art is very subjective, but I'm not a fan. Yeah, Pogpong. Some of these are absolutely so basic. But for example, I may have gone. There was this one. I'll jump into the Discord. Where is it? Discord is a messy place. Moody Crows, Mask Gang. So this is Mask Gang that launched this morning, which is very, very interesting. Their artwork was actually pretty good, but their general chat here is basically convincing people it's not a scam. It's absolutely ridiculous how they've launched this NFT in 5 days, they say. Don't want to try to scam. This is a scam. Scam. Like this whole thing, I've been watching it go down and everyone's like, this is a scam, this is a scam, this is a scam. They've minted, I believe, like 100 NFTs. And they're charging about $400 each NFT. Not quite, about $300 US. So 400 Australian dollars each NFT. And I'm like, this project is so basic. The artwork, I'll give it to them, is nice. It's not here anymore. Mask Gang. There's no, and everyone's like, okay, tell me why I should hold your NFT. And he's like, yeah, we're trying to work with some really high profile names and we're trying to put together like a roadmap. And I'm like, what do you mean you're trying to put together a roadmap? You launch and you don't even have a roadmap plan of where you're going. And they've done $40,000 of sales. Of course, it's going to cost quite a bit for them to actually get all this up and running. And my internet is so terrible. So the artwork I actually didn't mind, but I'm just shocked that like people are launching with a very, very simple website, and like at 25% sold, we'll give away another NFT. At 50% sold, we'll upload it to Rarity Tools, which shows you how rare each of your NFTs you've got is. So it's like nothing. At 75% sold, we'll give $250,000 prize fund back to the community. Okay. At 75% sold, you've already got $1.5 million in your hands. So you're giving back some of our money that we spent. And then the game's about to start at 100%. And like, that's a roadmap that people have put together, and people are literally in here buying in, being like, oh, is the mint live? Yeah. And people are buying this stuff. And I'm like, wow, if that's the absolute, that's the absolute worst on the spectrum. Middle of the spectrum is great art. decent marketing with some influencers involved who sell a decent amount and then maybe sell out in 3 or 4 months after that. And they do very well. And then the high end of things like we've talked about, Pete, like how do I get back to my, here we go. Cyberkongs, where they literally earn a passive income. They have a community fund where they invest in what they want to invest in and maybe get some inside knowledge and stuff. Winter Bears have done that really well, and the community sort of takes over that project. And I'm like, I think we can. I mean, I don't want to be too optimistic here. I think we can launch, do decently, and then keep adding value to the community over time that people just aren't expecting, and just keep delivering to them. Have a decentralized DAO and a community fund that they manage and invest. And I'm also thinking of maybe tying the NFT to actual value in that DAO, so they're guaranteed money back for their NFT. So like, instead of being like, I need someone else to buy it, you could also burn your NFT and collect the floor price out of the community DAO if you don't want to be a part of the project, which I haven't seen done yet. So I'm just thinking some practicality, but the big focus, if you can have great artwork and something that actually works for the community, it should do really well. And at the moment we are in a bull run for NFTs. So I do hope that lasts 3 months plus, because in order to launch it, I'd like it to be a bull run. Yeah, it would be nice for the old curios too.
That's amazing. I'm very, very interested to follow this one and see how it continues to go. And is your NFT project, is that part of the challenge here?
It is part of the challenge.
Lovely.
Yes.
I'm very, very keen to see this. And obviously I'd love to see the Dr. Pete card.
There will be a Dr. Pete card. I won't disclose exactly the animal we've chosen yet, but there's a cute animal, and there'll be a doctor in paying tribute to Dr. Peter Flynn from PhysioFit.
I'll see if I can buy that one on OpenSea.
Yeah, and so I'll make sure I get it and just price it really high.
We'll see how we go. But I'm interested. So that's what you're working on at the moment. And you've got, you said on Monday tomorrow, actually, flowers.
Monday in the US.
In the US, so Tuesday our time.
So there's a flowers project. My friend Zach, who's just a stud, really smart guy. He's in a couple of groups. He got into Lazy Lions I think at 1 ETH, and they just went up to 3 ETH. So we timed that one right, and he said he's heard rumblings of this one. I know he's in a group that he paid to get into that he thinks is pretty good. And these flowers, there's 4,000 of them. You have to be whitelisted to get it, and he said that he is whitelisted and he can get 12, but he only wants 3. So I might grab 3 of those. So I'll double check how many's left, and if you want to jump into the flower gang, maybe we'll report back on it here.
I think I might jump into the flower gang.
Yes,
and then we can talk about it and flip them next time.
Yes, but for me it's funny because this entire challenge, and I want to liquidate some of the DumbMoney funds, because I have like 12, maybe 10, 12 G's over there just in HCWB Biologics, which was like a which is a IPO thing back early in this challenge. I have Discovery. I still have quite a bit of Apple, which is like, if I'm doing the challenge, I get it out of Apple. I can be in Apple and save some money outside the challenge. But I reckon I could find another 12 G's on top of the 7 or 8 I have in cash, and just bring that 20 G's over. Maybe even put it towards marketing in the NFT challenge, or put it towards some other early projects. I'll see if I can pick up another couple of quick flips like the Mad Crows and what was it? I don't know what those called. Mad Crows.
It's good though. It's good looking at, because if you could do 1 or 2 flips per week where you make, let's say $500 on each one, which is pretty reasonable, right? $1,000 a week for really an hour or two's work, including the time to research and understand it. That's a pretty good hourly rate.
It's great. I was talking to Jenna. I think I've done $2,500 US in the last 2 weeks just on those flips.
Silly.
Which is great. Yeah, 5K US a month. But obviously we are in a bull run, and the S&P might be laughing at us. Actually, let's have a look at that graph real quick.
I think it's time to share the current scores.
The whole S&P 500. We may be laughing at us and getting us back in 10 years' time, but for now, we are going to laugh at him because I am more than double the old S&P. I'm up 8% this week, I believe. 2100 up. Curio was up a little bit from last Wednesday. The US dollar, I think, yeah, pretty much staying steady there. But I guess these $2,500 just picked up. I guess that basically exact math. The extra $2,200 there comes from that. And you, Pete, you want me to do this for you?
Yeah, do that for me, mate. Oh, he's on fire. Look at that. Our graphs are very similar, except that massive spike.
That is, well, I think that's Curio. And then
Yeah.
this is both on Curio. So then they start to line up.
Yeah, I was definitely a week late getting into the curio there.
He just won. Yeah, otherwise yours would go that. And, but good. I feel like, what about you? I feel like I am very much getting educated and more confident in some of my trades. So I'm very much enjoying this challenge.
Definitely. I think for me, it's a good mix between the stock market, which I'm still in a few things, and being able to understand and make some money there that I can then put into other trades. It's learning a lot about NFTs and learning a lot about crypto and different NFT projects. Trying to understand and learn when to flip. I think this is the biggest thing for me is when do you buy and when do you sell? Because in anything, that's how you make money. It's if you buy something and it could be amazing, but when you buy it, it's overpriced. Like for the NFTs, I bought at the top, and since then it's gone down, right? And the Curio card NFTs are still fantastic, but nothing is a fantastic investment if you pay too much for it because it can't go forwards. So looking at it and understanding, this is the thing that I'm really dedicating time to, is understanding how do you price something? When do you sell and when do you buy? And when I can start to understand that better, I think I'm going to start to see a lot more cash flow coming
in. I agree.
So that's my big project this week, is just continuing to understand, listening to the people who have made the most money in this sort of area consistently. So not people that just bought something and were like, oh, to the moon, people's coin, but people who have consistently bought things and they've consistently made money. Because those are people that understand when to buy and when to sell better than the average person, a lot better than me.
I agree. And they almost start to dictate the market, which is the funny thing about crypto and NFTs, because in the real world, to dictate the market, sure, Warren Buffett can like invest a lot of money in stock and it goes up, but he needs liquidity in order to sell it. And so it's going to tumble as soon as he tries to get out. And obviously Warren Buffett's not really one to rug pull. That'd be unnecessary in his book. But no, Shifty Buffett might be trying to rug pull on us.
Shifty Buffett's coming back after he watches this video.
But it's funny because the influencers, the people with power in social media and in the NFT community, they're not only making the right choices, so to speak, but the choices they make become right because they made them, because everybody follows them into those choices. And it's very much a game of how close are you to the right people and the right bits of knowledge. And we'll test that this week with the flowers.
I'm excited.
And actually, one last thing on that. It seems like a game that is very asymmetric in risk reward. So it's like these flowers, they're $85. I'm going to buy 3 of them, $240. If it goes to 0, I don't mind. But it's not unrealistic that they 5x or 10x. And so it's like in a bull run, even if I don't like fully believe in the project, the asymmetric risk reward seems to pay off in the long run.
And I think looking at something like this, you have to be whitelisted to buy them, right? So you have to be a special person to be able to even consider buying this. So then being able to sell that, I mean, that adds this, I guess that's why people are buying them, right? Because, well, it's hard to buy anything that's hard to buy.
Yeah.
It has value.
Because it's hard to buy, it has value. It's such a weird world.
Well, we will be reporting back in 1 week's time with a few little flower flips.
Yeah, we'll let you know on those flower flips. If you guys happen to stumble across this recording, get in the flower game, and we'll see you on the moon.
We shall see you on the moon at Benji and Pete's flower stall.
Yeah, we would promise to give you a very good price.
To
Thanks,
eat.
everyone.
Thank you very much. And was it like and subscribe for more?
Like and subscribe. See you next week.